If you feel like you've been spending a lot of time and energy studying, preparing, worrying about university, then I think that you're doing it wrong. And while this may not apply to you master's students or high level medicine students, I'm nearing the end of my bachelor's degree, and personally, I've been able to get through without even having my schoolwork or studies at the forefront of my priorities. And while these tips and tricks may not be for everybody, if you want to really excel in university and free up a little bit of your own mental space from worrying about studying, then this video is most certainly for you. But before we get too far into the video, if you're new here, my name is Carson. I'm a business student and I make videos for people like me who want to improve their lifestyle, health, and finances. So if that interests you at all, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and I hope you will too. Alright, so moving into today's video, I've put together my 4 best tips for anybody in university. Doesn't mean that you're brand new, doesn't mean that you've been there forever. And these come with a personal guarantee that if you apply them, you will be much more successful in your university years. Alright, so my first tip for you guys trying to excel in university is this. Go ahead and sit at the front of the class. That is right. You're not going to be able to be a successful student if you're wearing sweatpants, showing up, sitting in the very back, not asking any questions, and playing chess.com for the entire hour and a half. You got to be smack dab in the middle, right in front of the professor's eyes, right front row, and here's why. There's no way to get around paying attention when you're front row and you know that that professor is staring right at you, and you don't want to be the person that's obviously not paying attention if you're in the front row, because also everyone can see you behind. It gives you no excuse but to pay attention. And also, it makes it very easy to ask questions. You don't have to worry about being super loud. And better still, if the professor randomly calls on students, you're going to be more likely to get called on. And for some of you, you might not like that. I know I didn't really at first, but all of those things are going to bring your engagement level up and help you remember and cue in when it comes time to write your exam. So say no to any social anxiety and hop in the very front row. I can't say I do it every single time, but I try my best, and it certainly does help. All right, and moving on to my second best tip to excel in university is to set SMART goals. Now, if you're a business student like me, you've definitely heard SMART before when talking about goals, but if you haven't, let me enlighten you. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Use this to set goals for yourself for your entire education. So what you want to do when you're older, all that stuff, but also for things like studying for an exam. Be very specific. Think about why you're doing this, why you're in school, and set goals based on that to make sure that you're successful. Saying I want to get 85% on my biology midterm is a whole lot better than just wanting to do well. Set a specific goal with a measurable percentage and ready, aim, fire. All right, and moving on to number 3, this one is going to be a little bit more difficult for the introverts, but it is important. Force yourself, no matter how difficult it is, to be outgoing. If I think about the classes that I've done very well in university, there's one common factor between all of them. It's that I was outgoing when talking to my prof, but most importantly, I was outgoing talking to my peers and making friends and getting in kind of a group where I could study with them or get answers from them, not cheating, but maybe for an assignment where that's allowed. And just benefiting from having other minds around you that can help you where you might not be as strong. And this may be a very obvious thing that everybody has kind of heard of before, but it's a really important reminder because forcing yourself to be there and be outgoing is going to lead to your own personal success. I can personally guarantee it. And so my fourth and final tip for you to excel at university is this: work smarter and study less. The first way you can do this is by making sure you capitalize on all of those free bonus participation style marks. Now, it depends on the class and it depends on what you're studying, but I've seen anywhere from 5 to even 15, maybe even 20% made up, like of your grade, made up from just participation, completion assignments where it's not really graded, it's just for completion, or things like participating in research studies and bonus assignments. Making sure that you capitalize on all of those little things will really, really contribute to your own success for the rest of the course, because having that extra little bit could be the difference between an A or a B or C, and it gives you a little bit of extra peace of mind going forward. Another way you can do this: don't be afraid to ask for an extension if you need it. If you know that you're going to need something based on your upcoming schedule, make sure you ask in advance. Most profs will allow for some kind of leniency. And when it comes to studying, I've noticed a trend online where people are describing very high amounts of hours spent studying for exams, and I think that a lot of people don't understand how to properly study. What I recommend is to discover down to the very, very specific details how you study best, and then optimize your work hours to create the most conducive environment for your studying. For many of us, that's going to include some coffee, some study music, no distractions, and seriously, get that stuff off your desk. Use a different computer if you're going to be playing video games or something. Write down a list of all the things that you think will help you be the most successful, and then set aside specific time where you want to get a certain SMART goal completed by the end of that time period. And you'll start to notice that you've been wasting a lot of hours while you're trying to study, but instead surfing YouTube. For some of you, this will help bring your studying down from 20 plus, 30 plus hours a week to something a lot more manageable, where it's just like an hour a night, maybe 2 hours a night. And obviously, there's still going to be crunch time when you're doing exams, but seriously, it's a lot better to do 3 really, really good hours than 8 mediocre, unproductive hours. Now, none of this is going to transform you instantly to become the greatest university student of all time, but these are my honest tips that I've experienced growth and success from, and so I suggest giving them a try and seeing what you think. Now, take the time and let me know what you're studying in the comment section down below. I will respond. If you haven't subscribed yet and you enjoyed the video, please consider it. I would greatly appreciate it. I think you would too. But that ends today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.